Heading out at Iran over its drone supply, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that if Iranian drones were not supplied to Russia, Ukraine would already be closer to peace. Zelensky's remarks come as the war with Russia nears its 9-month mark. Ukraine's state electricity operator announced blackouts in Kiev and 7 other regions of the country in the aftermath of Russia's strikes on energy infrastructure. The move comes as Russian forces continue to attack Ukrainian cities and villages, targeting power plants, water supplies and other targets. Tens of thousands of people took to the streets of Rome to call for a ceasefire in Ukraine, peace negotiations and the dismantling of nuclear arsenals. Holding a long banner in the colors of the flag of peace, the demonstrators marched through the streets of the Italian capital to express solidarity with the Ukraine, but against the likely decision by the Italian government to send more weapons in mid-November. A fire in a cafe in the Russian city of Kostroma claimed at least 13 lives and injured several others. The blaze erupted in the early hours after someone apparently used a flare gun during a dispute. A report suggests rescuers were able to evacuate 250 people and a criminal investigation has been launched. Rescue operations continue after a commercial building in Iraq's capital Baghdad caught fire and subsequently collapsed. More than 24 people were injured, however no casualties were reported. The cause of the blaze is yet to be ascertained and the search for the missing at the scene is still underway. Fire broke out in a 35-story building in Dubai early Monday near the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. Black char marks from the blaze could be seen stretching up the building. The cause of the fire remains yet to be ascertained.
Dramatic scenes unveil outside the corporation in Thiruvananthapuram after a letter had purportedly leaked which shows that the mayor of Thiruvananthapuram, who is known to be the youngest mayor of the country, in fact had sent a mail to the district CPM secretary asking that if there are 295 vacancies, temporary vacancies available in the corporation and they are looking for cadres to fill this position. Where after this letter leak, all the parties, including the Yuva Morcha, the Youth Congress, as well as the, many other parties, including the Aam Aadmi Party, had all taken out a protest. As you can see, these are the visuals of the Youth Congress protest, where water cannon has been used. Now, these are visuals that are coming from outside the corporation, the Thiruvananthapuram corporation. Arya Rajendran has been alleged to have taken part or moved up nepotism. Basically, nepotism angle has come. 295 temporary vacancies were there. In the letter that came out, it showed that the mayor had written to Anavu Nagappan, who's known to be the CPM district secretary, and he, in the letter, in the alleged letter, the letters, which if it is true, it states that 295 vacancies are available. Now, she had also stated in the letter that vacancies are available and if they can fill it up from the party leadership itself. So that has caused trouble. As you can see, the Youth Congress is right now protesting outside the Thiruvananthapuram Municipal Corporation, the main corporation office in Thiruvananthapuram, demanding that Arya Rajendran must step down as she has violated her oath. And that is the reason these protests are happening. With video journalist Mani S from Thiruvananthapuram, Ashwin Nandakumar, Republic TV.
Republic Media Network was the only network to have tracked down economic fugitive offender Sanjay Bhandari back in 2019. Years later, Sanjay Bhandari has now finally been extradited by a Westminster court in London. Does this mean more trouble for Robert Vadra? We raise those burning questions at 8:30 p.m. tonight.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 10 years, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
Supreme Court will pronounce its verdict today on whether the petition filed against Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren alleging money laundering through shell companies and obtaining mining lease are maintainable or not. Supreme Court bench of Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia and Dinesh Maheshwari are set to pronounce the verdict. Conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar has shot off another letter to Delhi LG alleging that he has been receiving threats on behalf of now imprisoned Minister Satyendra Jain and DG Prison Sandeep Goyal, who's been transferred. In earlier two letters, Sukesh had claimed that Arvind Kejriwal promised a Rajya Sabha seat in lieu of 50 crore rupees. A five-judge bench of the Supreme Court led by Chief Justice of India UU Lalit is scheduled to pronounce judgment on the challenge to the validity of the 103rd constitutional amendment, which provides 10% reservation in government jobs and educational institutions to the economically weaker sections of society, but excludes the poorest of poor among scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other backward classes from its ambit. After the ED issued a fresh summons to Karnataka Congress State Chief DK Shivakumar, asking him to appear before it on November 7th, which is today, in connection with the ongoing money laundering case. The Karnataka's Congress State Chief has stated that he will not be attending, he will not be going for the quizzing in connection with the scam, and that he would be attending a birthday party of his party worker instead. Delhi woke up to a lingering smoke covering its sky, with the overall AQI under the very poor category at 326. Delhi Environment Minister Gopal Rai will chair a high-level meet to discuss new directions by Centre's Air Quality Panel about revoking curbs imposed under the final stage of the Graded Response Action Plan.
RS is holding a rally in
The Youth Congress is right now protesting outside, demanding that Arya Rajendran must step down as she has violated her oath.
6 Muslim women, they burnt hijab, expressing solidarity with the anti-hijab movement in Iran.
Mantri reiterates the poll promise in Himachal. He says UCC is not for votes, instead it's for development.
Mr. Vadra, Sanjay Bhandari is going to be extradited. You had your links with him. Going to be extradited, Mr. Vadra. Every time you run like this, Mr. Vadra, please answer.
Republic Media Network was the only network to have tracked down economic fugitive offender Sanjay Bhandari back in 2019. Years later, Sanjay Bhandari has now finally been extradited by a Westminster court in London. Does this mean more trouble for Robert Vadra? We raise those burning questions at 8:30 p.m. tonight. Hello, welcome you watching the biggest story tonight with me, Shavan Sen. Tonight we get you the story of 8 Navy veterans who mysteriously disappeared after a training program in Qatar. For 2 months, families of 8 Navy veterans have been going from pillar to post to find out about their loved ones. But not a single word has really come. So what really has happened? We get to the bottom of the story and also take you through the plight of the family members. Story that every channel has brushed it under the carpet. But up first, let's take a look at the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Story that every channel ignored. 2 months and counting since 8 former naval officers mysteriously detained in Doha. Republic finds the facts of the case. Families of former Navy officers demand justice on Republic TV questions why is India mum on the issue. Trouble brews for Robert Vadra as close aide Sanjay Bhandari now faces extradition. Republic accesses 107-page order copy. Accused in money laundering case under lens for Hawala links, UP era fugitive arms dealer to be extradited. Congress insults Hindus against Karnataka Congress leader says Hindu word is shameful and meaning of Hindu is dirty. Alleged close aide accused in liquor scam, Dinesh Arora turns approver. It's been almost 3 months now since 8 former naval officers were mysteriously detained in Doha. All of them were working for a firm called Tara Global Technologies and Consultancy and were reportedly engaged in conducting naval exercises. These officers were involved in providing training to Qatari Navy. One of them was planning to come down to India to visit his family when they were taken away on the pretext of a week-long naval exercise. They became incommunicado since 30th of August. Take a look at this report and then we'll also bring in family members of the Navy veterans.
It's been 3 months since 8 former naval officers were mysteriously detained in Doha. All of them were working for a firm called Tara Global Technologies and Consultancy and were reportedly engaged in conducting naval exercise for the Qatar Navy. These officers were involved in providing training to the Qatari Navy. One of them was planning to come down to India to visit his family when they were taken away on the pretext of a long week naval exercise. They became incommunicados since August 30th. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said that the Indian Embassy in Doha has been in touch with the Qatari authorities and is making all possible efforts for the early release and repatriation of the detained Indian nationals. The Qatari authorities have not said anything officially regarding the reasons for the detention. The families of these missing officers have demanded early repatriation of these ex-Navy officers. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, there's been no communication whatsoever from the Qatari authorities about why the 8 former Indian naval personnel are in custody in Doha. Family members of the detainees remain a worried lot. Among those detained is retired Commander Punendu Tiwari, an Indian expatriate who was conferred with the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award in 2019. In fact, his sister Meetu Bhargava is joining us on this broadcast along with my colleague Tanisha Awasthi from the Delhi newsroom. Ms. Bhargava, thank you very much for speaking to Republic Media Network. We do understand that these are very tough times for you and your family members. We here at Republic Media Network stand by you, and this perhaps is yet another attempt that we are going to make from the Republic Media Network to raise your voice so that the authorities concerned do take cognizance of the plight that you are in right now.
Thank you so
Ms.
much.
Bhargav, I just want you to start with telling our viewers, because this is a story which has been brushed under the carpet. Not much has been spoken about it in the media. You are speaking to the media for the first time. I would want you to perhaps narrate what really has transpired in the last 2 months.
I would like kindly inform that on 30th August, my brother, retired Commander Punendu Tiwari, was abducted. We came to know after 2 weeks, and that too through company services. And till now, we are the government is doing. We know that the government is doing a lot to repatriate, but still it should be acting more fastly so that all these 8 officers, they are Navy veterans, and they should be immediately repatriated to India. What else?
Ms. Bhargava, my colleague Tanisha is also joining us on this broadcast, who would like to take a question from you.
Yes, please.
Right. Ma'am, has the firm that they were working for, now these Navy 8 former Navy officers were working with this firm, this private firm who was training the Navy officers in Qatar. Has this private firm come in touch with you? Have they said anything? Have they apprised you of anything that they have come through? Or when was the last time that you got in touch with the firm?
Yes, the firm Tara Global Technology and Consultancy Services, they came in touch with us after the abduction, 2 weeks after the abduction of my brother. And last time we were
Ma'am, when was the last time when you had a word with your brother?
That was on 30th October, through telephone.
Well, Ms. Bhargava, as I understand, just about a few days ago, the Ministry of External Affairs did say that they are in touch with the Qatari authorities. There is a communication channel that has been opened up. I want to know from you, have you been able to establish any connector with our embassy in Doha? Is there any kind of response that you've heard? If they have, what is it that they are saying right now?
The MEA, Mr. Arindam Bagchi, yes, he gave the statement, but very sorry to say, it came after 65 days. I plead the MEA, the Honorable Prime Minister, the Government of India, to act fast and bring back all the 8 veterans to India, repatriate them immediately to India.
Ms. Bhargava, just to understand, for 2 months almost, there has been absolutely no communication whatsoever. What do you think actually went wrong, in the sense that when you spoke to your brother last and from there onwards, is there anything that you've heard from the Qatari authorities or anywhere else with regards to the current whereabouts of the Navy officers?
So, sorry, nothing was, nothing we came to know about him. But we know that he is under solitary confinement, which is very sad, and it is very not good for the health of these 8 veterans also, because they are senior most citizens and retired armed force veterans.
Well, Ms. Bhargava, I know this is undoubtedly a very tough moment for you, but is there any foul play that you suspect at this point in time, given the fact that for almost 2 months, none of the authorities wanted to speak about it?
Yes, sorry, no idea.
Okay. I think so. My colleague Tarisha would like to take the last question.
Yes, ma'am, you said that Arindam Bagchi, the MEA spokesperson, did give an assurance that they'll be soon trying for the early release of the 8 Navy veterans. But apart from that, what else do you demand from the government? Because it's been almost actually today is the 70th day, as you were telling me, that these 8 former Navy officers have gone missing. What are your demands that you want to put through Republic TV today?
Yes, to repatriate all the 8 officers back to India immediately within a day or 2. And yesterday I tweeted my last tweet, which I tweeted yesterday. I would like to read it once again, and that would be enough for the government to, as a message for the government. The Indian government need to act immediately, swiftly, and walk the talk if they really care about their defense personnel. As today is the 70th day of the illegal solitary confinement of a senior citizen, Navy veterans in Doha, who all because of their age are suffering from medical ailments. Delay in their release is causing extreme hardship to these veterans and their families also. And I would like, they have served their motherland. Hence, again, plead our government, our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, that to kindly expedite their release. Thank you so much. And I'm thankful for the media, the Republic.
Ms. Bhargava, thank you very much for taking out the time and speaking to Republic Media Network. Yes. We stand by you and your family members in these difficult times. We'll be continuing our focus on this story, trying to find out the reality
Thank you, sir.
and also
Thank
what's
you, sir.
really happening in Qatar. Well, it's been a big win for the Indian investigative agencies in London, with the Westminster Court in the United Kingdom clearing the extradition of controversial arms dealer Sanjay Bhandari to India. Sanjay Bhandari's extradition has been ordered in a money laundering case being probed by the Enforcement Directorate. The agency was fighting the case in UK court on behalf of the Indian government. ED has now filed a charge sheet. This was filed actually on 1st of June 2020 against Sanjay Bhandari and other co-conspirators, including various companies floated by him in the overseas jurisdiction. In fact, Republic Media Network was the only network to have tracked down Sanjay Bhandari back in 2019. Months later, the Enforcement Directorate had actually filed a charge sheet in this particular case, and an appeal was filed before the Westminster Court in the United Kingdom for the extradition of Sanjay Bhandari. Thereafter, the hearing continued with both sides putting across their views on this matter. Representing the Indian investigative agencies was the Crown Prosecution Service, and the defendant was Sanjay Bhandari himself. But remember, this has been a big setback for Robert Vadra, given the fact that in the charge sheet that was filed by the Enforcement Directorate, he's now been named, however, not as an accused. Joining us on this broadcast is Executive Editor, Legal, Rhythm, who's joining us. Rhythm, just put this into perspective. 107-page order accessed by Republic Media Network. The big takeaways from that order, what is it that has worked in the favor of the Indian investigative agencies?
For one thing, we need to remember here, the Westminster Magistrates Court in the United Kingdom has allowed the extradition and has given out scathing observations which clearly show on page 23. This is a big victory for India. It's a victory because they say Sanjay Bhandari committed money laundering. There was in the 107-page order details that he concealed properties, entered into money laundering arrangements and transferred properties. In fact, the 107-page order at page 23 also goes on to give great details about how properties were accessed, properties were taken, there was tax evasion, and then India has been able to impress upon a UK court. Very, very important to mention, this is a UK court that says even the English laws are attracted in the kind of words that were used, in the kind of property dealings that were done by Sanjay Bhandari. What is also important to remember and mention here is the emails between Robert Vadra and Bhandari's aide and others on the Bryanston Square property, which also finds a mention in the court. In para 22 subsection D, it clearly says at one point that even this property was owned by Vertex, that was also owned by Sanjay Bhandari, something that he has admitted. Bryanston Square is the palatial property in which there were emails that were being exchanged by Robert Vadra and his aides on how to make rearrangements to the entire house, and these had been found in Sanjay Bhandari. So very clearly, several mentions made also of Robert Vadra in the 107-page order that also needs to be seen.
Well, thank you very much, Rhythm, for putting this into perspective. In fact, Robert Vadra was actually confronted by our colleague Piyush Mishra, but like always, Vadra once again ducks Republic's questions.
Mr. Vadra, Sanjay Bhandari is going to be extradited. Mr. Vadra, what do you say on this, sir? Mr. Vadra, Sanjay Bhandari is going to be extradited. You had your links with him. Mr. Vadra, Mr. Vadra, what do you have to say on this? Sanjay Bhandari is going to be extradited. Mr. Vadra, every time you run like this, Mr. Vadra, please answer.
Well, just Rhythm, one quick question before we move to our next story. With regards to the timeline, important to point out here is that this is perhaps just the first step. There is a longer battle that the Indian investigative agencies in all likelihood would be facing.
Well, definitely, Shravan, we'll have to see how soon the agencies are able to establish that they need to bring him back to India. Like we thought of and spoken earlier, Secretary of State in United Kingdom will have to now, within the next 28 days, give assent to the extradition consent and order that has come out from the Westminster Magistrates Court, after which this possibly could go to a higher appeal if Sanjay Bhandari's team tries to go there. But in a sense, even as we have to wait for that to happen, this is a big victory. Very rarely in the UK courts, once an order has been given of extradition, is it revoked in a higher court, unless some circumstances are shown that are very, very evident to say that yes, there is a new circumstance for which there needs to be a change in the extradition treaty and process that has been put forward.
Well, thank you very much, Rhythm, for getting us the latest details. Well, as the Congress leader abuses Hinduism, here's the first reaction now coming in from the party. No apology or action, mere a condemnation. Party leader Randeep Surjewala in a tweet has condemned the statement as the anger mounts among the Hindu community. Here comes the attempt to distance itself from the controversy by condemning it.
हिंदू धर्म, वो धर्म, ये धर्म, हिंदू शब्द कहाँ से आ गया? ये हमारा है? पर्शियन का है। पर्शियन का है? ईरान, इराक, कजाकिस्तान, उज्बेकिस्तान। फिर भारत का उधर का क्या संबंध है? फिर आपका कैसा होगा ये हिंदू? चर्चा होना चाहिए। अभी व्हाट्सएप में, विकिपीडिया में देखो, पर्शियन कहाँ से आ गया शब्द? आपका नहीं है। फिर आपको इतने उसको ऊपर बिठा के क्यों आप जा रहे हैं? आपका नहीं है वो शब्द। फिर उसका मीनिंग आपको समझ में आ गया तो आपके अब शर्म आ जाएंगे। हिंदू का जो मीनिंग है वो बहुत गंदी है। ये तो मैंने कह रहा हूँ, स्वामी जी ने क्या बोला ना, ये ऑलरेडी वेबसाइट में है। कहीं का धर्म, कहीं का शब्द आप लाके हमारे ऊपर जबरदस्ती डाल रहे हैं।
Well, in fact, the BJP has also now reacted on this issue. Here's a reaction coming in from Rajvardhan Singh Rathore, who said that the Congress doesn't understand either Hindus or even Hindi.
ये हिंदू को, हिंदू भाषी को समझते ही नहीं कुछ। प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने हमेशा कहा है कि जो भी लोकल भाषा है उसको, उसमें शिक्षा हो 5वीं तक, और उसके बाद में सबको आगे बढ़ने का एक अवसर मिले, ऐसी हमारी एजुकेशन की पॉलिसी हो। भारत के अंदर जो भी भारत को सबसे पहले मानते हैं उनका स्वागत है। हमने अपनी विचारधारा बिल्कुल स्पष्ट कर रखी है और भारत के साथ कोई समझौता नहीं है। भारत सबसे पहले, इसके साथ कोई समझौता नहीं है।
इसका ये एजेंडा है कि हिंदू मतावलंबी, हिंदू देवी देवता और हिंदू दर्शन को बदनाम करना। और वैसे भी देखिए, इटली की महारानी की पार्टी से हम और कुछ अपेक्षा कर भी नहीं सकते। जिस राजनीतिक दल का राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष या जिन परिवार का उस पर कब्जा है वो स्वयं हिंदू धर्म का मखौल उड़ाते हों, उनके नेता मखौल उड़ाते होंगे, तो ऐसे छुटभैये नेता से आप और क्या अपेक्षा कर सकते हो? यही तो करेंगे। ये हिंदू शब्द के बारे में बात करना नहीं है, ये पूरे के पूरे हिंदू धर्म को बदनाम करने वाली बात है। और ये कांग्रेस का एजेंडा है। कभी राम मंदिर पर रोक लगाने की कोशिश, कभी राम सेतु को तोड़ने की कोशिश, कभी हिंदू देवी देवताओं को गाली देने की बात, कभी हिंदू मतावलंबियों के भावनाओं से खिलवाड़ करना। यही तो सोनिया गांधी, राहुल गांधी, प्रियंका गांधी ने किया, मणिशंकर अय्यर और दिग्विजय सिंह ने यही तो किया है। तो ये कांग्रेस का एजेंडा है। आप उनसे और कुछ अपेक्षा कर नहीं सकते। हिंदुस्तान में रहकर हिंदुओं को गाली देते हुए 50 साल तक कांग्रेस ने राज किया है। ये उसी की परिणति है, पर ध्यान रखिए, अब ये इस देश में सहन नहीं किया जाएगा।
Well, in fact, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad has also now jumped in. A reaction coming in from VHP leader Vinod Bansal, who said that this is not a new thing coming in from the Congress party, as it has become a habit for the Congress to insult Hindus. Listen.
देखिए, ये कोई नई बात नहीं है कांग्रेस के लिए। हिंदू द्रोह की आग में जलते जलते कांग्रेस इतनी बुन चुकी है कि अब उनको हिंदुओं से अब तक जो दोयम दर्जे का नागरिक बना के रखने का जो प्रकल्प ये रचते थे, जो प्रपंच रचते थे, अब वो हिंदू शब्द से भी उनको घृणा होने लगी। आप देखिए कि ये युवराज से पूछें कि आखिरकार वो अपने आप को हिंदू क्यों कहते हैं। अगर हिंदू शब्द इतना ही खतरनाक है तो अपने आप को पंडित क्यों कहते हैं भाई? क्यों बार बार चुनाव आते के साथ जनेऊ दिखाने लग जाते हैं? आखिरकार क्यों मंदिरों में जाते हैं? जाओ ना बेटिंग सिटी में आराम करो, सोनिया जी को ले जाओ, नाना जी के पास रहो, ज़्यादा बेटर है। कम से कम हिंदुओं को गरियाने से आपको कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला। जिन लोगों की राजनीति या उनका राजनीतिक धरातल रसातल में जा चुका, अब वो नए नए छल प्रपंच रचने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। हिंदू समाज और इस देश का वोटर अच्छी तरह जानता है, इनका चाल चरित्र चेहरा अच्छी तरह पहचानता है। हिंदुओं को कितना ही गरिया लो, कितना ही कुछ भी कह लो, हम चूँकि सहिष्णु हैं इसलिए सहन कर लेते हैं। अगर यही बात किसी और के बारे में कही होती तो इनका सर तन से जुदा हो गया होगा अभी तक। ये किसी आतंकी जो संगठन हैं या आतंकवाद को पोषण देने वाले लोगों के विषय में कुछ नहीं बोल सकते। वहाँ तो जाके इनको नींद नहीं आती। इनकी नेताजी कहती हैं कि वो मेरे को रातों रात नींद नहीं आई अगर आतंकवादी मर गया, और इनके जो नेता हैं वो आतंकवादियों के सर पर घर पर जाकर के सजदा करते हैं।
हिंदू धर्म, वो धर्म, ये धर्म, हिंदू शब्द कहाँ से आ गया? पर्शियन का है, फिर भारत का उधर का क्या संबंध है? फिर आपका कैसा होगा ये हिंदू?
Vadra Congress launches attack on Hindus. Vadra Congress calls Hinduism a foreign religion. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
After the ED issued fresh summons to Karnataka Congress State Chief D.K. Shivakumar, asking him to appear before it on November 7th, which is today, in connection with the ongoing money laundering case, the Karnataka's Congress State Chief has stated that he will not be attending, he will not be going for the quizzing in connection with the scam, and that he would be attending a birthday party of his party worker instead. Delhi woke up to a lingering smoke covering its sky, with the overall AQI under the very poor category at 326. Delhi Environment Minister Gopal Rai will chair a high-level meet to discuss new directions by Centre's Air Quality Panel about revoking curbs imposed under the final stage of the Graded Response Action Plan.
The RSS holding a rally in Cuddalore in Tamil Nadu after the massive face-off between the state government and the RSS. The BJP that has won 3 out of the 7 seats in the by-polls today. The Prime Minister in Bhavnagar is not just going to be speaking to the people there, he is attending that mass marriage.
Team of Kamrup District Police in Assam, led by officer in charge of Chiagaon Police Station, busted fake Indian currency racket and apprehended 5 people. According to the police officials, fake currency notes, 1 printing machine, 8 phones and other objectionable items were recovered. A case has also been registered. MOSMA V. Muralidharan arrived in Brazil. Muralidharan is set to address Brazilian Congress at a session on 75 years of India's independence and also interact with Brazilian leadership and Indian community. DMK MP Kanimoi has sought an appointment to meet President Draupadi Murmu to submit its petition to recall the Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi. Kanimoi has said to
Well, getting you the MEA statement on MV Heroic Yadun, this embassy and High Commission in Abuja closely working with authorities of the Equatorial Guinea and Nigeria for the early release of crew members of MV Heroic Yadun. All crew members are safe and those in the detention center have been shifted to the ship. Since their detention at mid-August, this mission has been in regular contact with the crew members over phone. We have also had several council access visits to them. We are closely monitoring the developments and are actively engaged for an early resolution of the issue. In fact, family members had spoken out just a short while back. Republic Media Network was the only network to have tracked down economic fugitive offender Sanjay Bhandari back in 2019. Years later, Sanjay Bhandari has now finally been extradited by a Westminster court in London. Does this mean more trouble for Robert Vadra? We raise those burning questions at 8:30 p.m. tonight.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 10 years, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, masscom, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
Supreme Court will pronounce its verdict today on whether the petition filed against Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren alleging money laundering through shell companies and obtaining mining lease are maintainable or not. Supreme Court bench of Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia and Dinesh Maheshwari are set to pronounce the verdict. Conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar has shot off another letter to Delhi LG alleging that he has been receiving threats on behalf of now imprisoned Minister Satyendra Jain and DG Prison Sandeep Goyal, who's been transferred. In earlier two letters, Sukesh had claimed that Arvind Kejriwal promised a Rajya Sabha seat in lieu of 50 crore rupees. A 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court led by Chief Justice of India UU Lalit is scheduled to pronounce judgment on the challenge to the validity of the 103rd constitutional amendment, which provides 10% reservation in government jobs and educational institutions to the economically weaker sections of society, but excludes the poorest of poor among scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and other backward classes from its ambit. After the ED issued a fresh summons to Karnataka Congress State Chief DK Shivakumar asking him to appear before it on November 7th, which is today, in connection with the ongoing money laundering case, the Karnataka's Congress State Chief has stated that he will not be attending, he will not be going for the quizzing in connection with the scam, and that he would be attending a birthday party of his party worker instead. Delhi woke up to a lingering smoke covering its sky with the overall AQI under the very poor category at 326. Delhi Environment Minister Gopal Rai will chair a high-level meet to discuss new directions by Centre's Air Quality Panel about revoking curbs imposed under the final stage of the Graded Response Action Plan.
The RSS holding a rally in Cuddalore in Tamil Nadu after the massive face-off between the state government and the RSS.
समाज को बांटकर, समाज को तोड़कर हम सरकार नहीं बनाना चाहेंगे मेरे बहनों भाइयों। हम समाज ये हम सरकार बनाना चाहें, समाज को जोड़कर हम बनाना चाहेंगे।
Is it time to bring UCC in Parliament? Big debate on UCC in winter session or not. Debating tonight at 10 p.m.
Viewers, it's time for Superfast 50. I'm Shivangi Shukla. Let's get started. The landmark verdict, the Supreme Court upheld the validity of the quota for the economically weaker sections in a 3-2 majority. This on grounds that it did not violate the Constitution. The Apex Court pronounced its judgment on a batch of pleas challenging the validity of the 103rd Constitution Amendment, providing 10% reservation to the weaker sections economically, people in the admissions and the government jobs as well.
माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट का कहना है कि ये जो ईडब्ल्यूएस कैटेगरी है, ये कहीं से भी जो कास्ट बेस्ड रिजर्वेशन है उसको कॉन्फ्लिक्ट नहीं करता, ये किसी भी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का वायलेशन नहीं करता, आर्टिकल 14 का वायलेशन नहीं करता। इसलिए तो गरीब, आर्थिक रूप से जो गरीब हैं उनको ये 10% का जो रिजर्वेशन है ये प्रावधान यथावत रहेगा, ये चलता रहेगा, इसमें कोई रोक नहीं आई है। माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 10% रिजर्वेशन के खिलाफ जितनी याचिकाएं थी सबको खारिज कर दिया है।
Following the Supreme Court verdict on EWS reservation, mega celebrations erupted in Jammu. The protests were held shortly after the pro-poor quota judgment by workers belonging to the Dogra Front. And the Supreme Court upheld the validity of the 103rd Constitutional Amendment, providing 10% reservation to persons belonging to economically weaker section in admissions and the government jobs. Congress leader Udit Raj released yet another controversial statement calling the Apex Court casteist.
तो
तो जब SC/ST का मैटर आए तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का स्टैंड अलग, और जब सवर्णों का मैटर आए तो अलग।
आपको लगता है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट जातिवाद से बहुत ज्यादा मोटिवेटेड, आप ये कहना चाह रहे हैं?
यस।
लेकिन ये पूरा तरह से क्वेश्चन उठा रहा है सर संविधान पर आपका स्टेटमेंट।
अरे संविधान का नहीं है वो, और न सुप्रीम कोर्ट का भी नहीं है, जजेज के ऊपर है, न संविधान के ऊपर, न पार्लियामेंट और सुप्रीम कोर्ट पर नहीं है, जजेज मानसिकता की बात।
Wading into the debate, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin too said that the EWS quota verdict has been a big setback for the fight for social justice that has been going on for hundreds of years. The Westminster Magistrates Court in London, UK, rules that Sanjay Bhandari, an accused arms dealer proclaimed offender wanted in India, can be extradited to India. A big blow to Congress. An alleged aide of Robert Vadra, Bhandari, faced 2 extradition requests from the Indian authorities. Now, the first is now related to the money laundering case, and the second to the tax evasion case. An Indian National Congress leader from Karnataka struck a row after he claimed that Hindu is not an Indian word but a Persian word. Speaking at an event now, working president of KPCC and MLA Satish Jarkioli has now claimed that upon knowing the meaning of the Hindu word, one would get ashamed, and stated that there should be a discussion on it. Reacting to the Congress leader's controversial statement, Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP spokesperson S. Prakash said that it is the habit of Congress to insult Hindus. He also asked the Grand Old Party if this is their official stand.
It's very unfortunate the Congress party leaders take pleasure in insulting Hindus. They always attack the majority community here. And Mr. Jarkioli, who is a follower of Siddaramaya, is truly in the footsteps of Siddaramaya today. Earlier it was Siddaramaya who was insulting Hindu.
Trouble mounted for Aam Aadmi Party, and Delhi Deputy CM Manish Sisodia and liquor scam accused Dinesh Arora has turned a prover in the case now. His disclosure statement will be recorded by the court on November 14th. Big statement on UCC. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that UCC will be implemented in Himachal and it would not be for votes but development, as BJP aims to bring equality through the move.
यह भी यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड, समान नागरिक संहिता लागू करने की बात लोग कहते हैं। हम वोट हासिल करने के लिए समान नागरिक संहिता की बात कर रहे हैं। समाज को बांटकर, समाज को तोड़कर हम सरकार नहीं बनाना चाहेंगे मेरे बहनों भाइयों। हम समाज ये हम सरकार बनाना चाहें, समाज को जोड़कर हम बनाना चाहेंगे।
Conman Suke Chandrasekhar wrote a third letter to Delhi Lieutenant Governor Vinay Kumar Saxena. In a big claim, Conman alleged that the Aam Aadmi Party leader Satyendra Jain took rupees 50,000 crores from him. Sukesh further requested the LG to direct an urgent CBI investigation and allow him to file an FIR in the matter. Lashing Arvind Kejriwal coming over Conman's latest letter, BJP asked Arvind Kejriwal to drop Jain and Gehlot from his cabinet for an impartial probe.
Is it true that the money was exchanged at the farmhouse of Kailash Gehlot, another minister in your government? Today, instead of allowing a free and fair probe and making his minister step down so that a free and fair probe can take place without any fear or favor, Mr. Kejriwal once again plays the victimhood card and tries to skirt the issue. Mr. Kejriwal must tell us that ये कौन से 4 यार थे जो मिल रहे थे तिहार में और कर रहे थे भ्रष्टाचार.
After the ED issued a fresh summon to Karnataka Congress State President D.K. Shivakumar, asking him to appear before it on November 7 in connection with the ongoing money laundering case. D.K. Shivakumar said that he was occupied with party national president program and therefore skipped the ED summons. It's a relief for Jharkhand CM Hemant Soren from the top court. The top court overturned the decision of the Jharkhand High Court and said that the plea against Soren alleging money laundering through shell companies is not maintainable. Earlier, the High Court had considered the PIL against Hemant Soren as maintainable. Delhi government held a key meeting on Delhi pollution today. Key decisions were taken in the meeting. Delhi government announced the primary schools will be reopened from November 9th and full-time work will continue in the offices, while the ban on construction work has been revoked. Ban on private construction will continue.
दिल्ली में प्रदूषण के स्तर में सुधार हुआ है, इसलिए फेज 4 के जो प्रतिबंध थे उसे वापस लिया जा रहा है। फेज 3 के अंदर जो प्रतिबंध जारी थे उसको आगे भी जारी रखा जाएगा।
Massive controversy after a letter from Thiruvananthapuram Mayor Office to CPIM District Secretary allegedly leaked. In the letter, the mayor allegedly asked that if there are any cadres to take up 295 jobs with the Thiruvananthapuram Corporation. CPIM District Secretary, however, has denied receiving any such letter. Massive protests were held in Thiruvananthapuram over the mayor letter controversy. Workers from CPIM and opposition parties gathered outside the corporation today, following which there were massive face-off between cops and the protesters. During the protest against the Thiruvananthapuram Mayor Rajendran, the back entrance of the corporation office was closed. While BJP demanded to open the entrance and stage massive protests, police detained several BJP councillors. Week of the EWS quota verdict, Maharashtra Deputy CM Devendra Fadnavis dwelled on whether this will pave the way for the restoration of the Maratha quota. Addressing a briefing on Monday, he revealed that the state governments shall examine all possibilities after reservation was allowed over and above the existing 50% reservation to SCs, STs and other backward classes. As investigation progresses in Coimbatore blast case, accused are likely to be brought over to Chennai for further investigation by National Investigation Agency, after which they will be likely to be shifted from Coimbatore Central Prison to the prison in Chennai. PM Modi will unveil the logo theme in the website of India's G20 presidency on Tuesday, November 9th via video conferencing. India will assume the G20 presidency on December 1st, 2022. Outgoing Chief Justice of India, Umesh Lalit, turned nostalgic as he recalled his journey of nearly 37 years in the Supreme Court, saying he enjoyed his stint both as a lawyer and as a judge. After Justice Lalit's retirement on November 8th, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud will be appointed as the 50th Chief Justice of India.
I was a member of Supreme Court Bar Association, which meant a lot to me. And I have, with the help of all of you, all lawyers, all judges, have been able to do something in life, and that's only because of you. And this is to acknowledge all that whatever good I have shared with all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The BJP will hold a meeting of its Central Election Committee on Wednesday evening in a bid to finalize the first list of candidates for the upcoming Gujarat Assembly polls. With 5 days to go for Himachal Assembly elections, BJP gets aggressive in political campaigning. Day after releasing election manifesto, JP Nadda was in Rampur this afternoon, where he addressed a public rally and gave a massive push for the double-engine government in the state. While BJP president campaign in Rampur, UP CM led the campaign in Una, where he launched attack on Congress party and its leaders. Taking a pot shot, Yogi said that both Rahul and Priyanka left the country during COVID.
आप सोचिए तो ठाकुर जयराम जी के नेतृत्व में सरकार बन गई और प्रोफेसर राम कुमार जी सक्रिय रहे तो विकास की योजनाओं को लेके आते रहे, यहाँ लोगों की हित में काम करते रहे। हारने के बाद भी विधानसभा क्षेत्र में सक्रिय रह करके जनता जनार्दन की सेवा करते रहे, विकास की योजनाओं को लेके आते रहे। जल जीवन मिशन में हर घर नल की योजना लागू करने की रहा हो।
Ahead of the assembly polls in Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh, Democratic Azad Party chief and ex-Jammu and Kashmir CM Ghulam Nabi Azad launched a scathing attack on Aam Aadmi Party. Azad contended that Arvind Kejriwal-led party will not fare well in the poll-bound states as it had failed to govern Punjab effectively. Congress welcomed the Supreme Court verdict upholding the validity of providing 10% reservation to people belonging to the economically weaker sections and said that the amendment providing for it was a result of a process initiated by Manmohan Singh government. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will be on a 2-day visit to Russia. Dr. S. Jaishankar will be holding talks with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, and this is in continuation of their regular high-level dialogue between the two sides. Talks between the two sides are expected to cover the entire range of bilateral issues and exchange views on various regional and international developments. Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar embarked on a 2-day tour to Jammu and Kashmir. Union Minister is slated to hold interactions with state government officials, students and other stakeholders to broaden the engagement in areas of skilling, innovation, entrepreneurship as a part of Modi government's mega Jammu and Kashmir outreach initiative. Gujarat High Court has taken suo motu cognizance of Morbi bridge collapse incident. The High Court sought a report within 10 days from the state government on the steps taken so far. Twitter's new CEO Elon Musk said that the social media platform's mission was to become the most accurate source of information about the world, sparking debate about how it would achieve that and who determines what is accurate. The mass layoffs initiated by the Twitter office seem pretty chaotic, as the company is now calling back those who were fired by mistake. According to multiple media reports, some of the employees laid off amid a rejig in the company have been called back, as the management now realizes that their contributions might be too valuable to lose. Death count from Sunday's plane crash in Tanzania has now increased to 19. Regional authorities further added that 26 survivors out of the 43 people on board flight 494 has been pulled to safety and taken to hospital in the lakeside city. Ukraine state electricity operator announced blackouts in Kiev and 7 other regions of the country in the aftermath of Russia's strikes on energy infrastructure. The move comes as Russia forces continue to attack Ukrainian cities and villages, targeting power plants, water supply and other targets. Russia installed officials in the partially occupied Donetsk region, accusing Ukraine of shelling the city of Donetsk with rocket launchers. The blaze was contained and there were no casualties. Vocational school in the northern region of Kherson, Ukraine, has been destroyed due to the Ukrainian-Russia war. Now, the city of Kherson on the Black Sea coast was seized by Russia in the first month after its invasion of Ukraine on 24 February. A fire now in a cafe in the Russian city of Kostroma has claimed at least 30 lives and injured several others now. The blaze erupted in the early hours after someone apparently used a flare gun during a dispute. Reports suggest that rescuers were able to evacuate 250 people and a criminal investigation has now been launched. A fire broke out at a 35-story building in Dubai early Monday near Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. Black marks from the blaze could be seen stretching up the building. The cause of the fire remains yet to be ascertained. Southampton sacked manager Ralph Hasenhüttl with the team in the relegation zone in the Premier League. The decision came a day after the Saints lost 4-1 to Newcastle United, leaving the team third from the bottom. US President Joe Biden addressed supporters at the Sarah Lawrence College in Westchester ahead of the midterm elections, warning of Republican efforts to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. Biden promised to veto any attempt to pass a nationwide ban on abortion should Republicans gain control of the Congress.
Is literally on the ballot. I've been making this case since I ran. You know, there are more than 300 Republican candidates for state, local, and federal office who are election deniers, who say that I did not win the election, even though the hundreds of attempts to challenge that have all failed, even in Republican courts. Well, Kathy's opponent is one of those election deniers. These deniers not only are trying to deny your right to vote, they're trying to deny your right to have your vote counted.
Suffering from a throat infection, star Indian shuttler Lakshya Sen has now withdrawn from the upcoming Australian Open Super 300 badminton tournament. The 21-year-old from Almora picked up the infection just before the Hilo Open, but he lost in the opening round to Hong Kong. Danish teenager Holger Rune has staged a stunning comeback to secure the biggest victory of his career by beating Novak Djokovic in the final of the Paris Masters. Rune denied Djokovic a record-extending 39 Masters title. Sri Lanka's cricket captain said he was very saddened after a member of his team was charged with sexually assaulting a woman in Australia. Danushka Gunathilika was arrested early on Sunday at the Sydney hotel and was charged with 4 counts of sexual intercourse without consent. Cristiano Ronaldo was involved in a bizarre incident while leading Manchester United against Aston Villa on Sunday night. Playing at Villa Park, United were behind by 3-1 in the 60th minute of the match when Ronaldo got indulged in a WWE-style brawl with Villa's Tyrone Mings. Both players were then shown the yellow card. Joey Logano won his second NASCAR championship on Sunday with a victory in the winner-takes-all finale at Phoenix Raceway, a win that gave Penske the Cup title and IndyCar title in the same season for the first time in 31 attempts. Caroline Garcia advanced through to the final of the WTA finals with a victory over Maria Sakkari. Garcia will face a winner of the second semi-final, Aryna Sabalenka, in the final of the tournament on November 8th. Authorities in Qatar have acknowledged that 3 firefighters died last week during what officials say was a routine training exercise unrelated to the upcoming World Cup. Qatar has been under intense international scrutiny over its treatment of migrant workers as it prepares to host the world's biggest sporting event later this month. Keylor Navas and Brian Ruiz head the list of 26 players that the Costa Rican team will have for the Qatar World Cup. Head coach Luis Fernando Suarez kept the space of experienced players who carried out difficult World Cup qualifiers, where Costa Rica managed to come back and secure their spot in the Intercontinental Playoff against New Zealand. Jordan Clarkson scored 23 points. Reserve Colin Sexton added 22, and Utah Jazz beat the Los Angeles Clippers 110-102 on Sunday night. The Jazz rallied after blowing a 10-point lead in the first half and trailing by 6 in the third quarter. And number 7, Aryna Sabalenka stunned world number 1 Iga Swiatek in the 2 hour and 7 minute semi-final showdown at Fort Worth. Sabalenka prevailed in her tour-leading 28 3-set match of this season to reach a third final of the year.
The RSS holding a rally in Cuddalore in Tamil Nadu after the massive face-off between the state government and the RSS. The BJP that has won 3 out of the 7 seats in the by-polls today. The Prime Minister in Bhavnagar is not just going to be speaking to the people there, he's attending that mass marriage.
Team of Kamrup District Police in Assam, led by officer in charge of Chiagaon police station, busted fake Indian currency racket and apprehended 5 people. According to the police officials, fake currency notes, 1 printing machine, 8 phones and other objectionable items were recovered. A case has also been registered. MOSMA V. Muralidharan arrived in Brazil. Muralidharan is set to address Brazilian Congress at a session on 75 years of India's independence and also interact with Brazilian leadership and Indian community. DMK MP Kanimoi has sought an appointment to meet President Draupadi Murmu to submit its petition to recall the Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi. Kanimoi has said to make a disrespecting comment by the Governor against those representatives who have been elected by the people is against constitutional rights. Supreme Court will pronounce its verdict today on whether the petition filed against Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren alleging money laundering through shell companies and obtaining mining lease are maintainable or not. Supreme Court bench of Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia and Dinesh Maheshwari are set to pronounce the verdict. Conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar has shot off another letter to Delhi LG alleging that he has been receiving threats on behalf of now imprisoned AFP Minister Satyendra Jain and DG Prison Sandeep Goyal, who's been transferred. In earlier 2 letters, Sukesh had claimed that Arvind Kejriwal promised a Rajya Sabha seat in lieu of 50 crore rupees. A 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court led by Chief Justice of India UU Lalit is scheduled to pronounce judgment on the challenge to the validity of the 103rd constitutional amendment, which provides 10% reservation in government jobs and educational institutions to the economically weaker sections of society, but excludes the poorest of poor among scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other backward classes from its ambit. After the ED issued fresh summons to Karnataka,
breaking news coming in. Bengaluru court orders blocking off Twitter handles of Congress Party Bharat Jodo Yatra in copyright infringement suit. All right, let's go to Prajwal. Prajwal is joining us live. Prajwal, take us to the details we're getting about this fresh development.
Now we are going on and getting to understand that the Bharat Jodo Yatra's handles, may it be the Twitter, Instagram or the Facebook accounts, will have to be blocked, is what the Bengaluru Commercial Court has ordered, because there was a complaint which was lodged by MRT Audio Company, and they had stated that all the Hindi songs of the movie KGF 2 was used by the Congress party, and therefore they will have to be blocked, and a case was registered at the Yeshwantpur police station. And in this regard, the plaintiff had gone to the court and stated that this is a gross violation of the Copyright Act, and therefore the content should be removed immediately. But despite that, there were three key leaders who were named in the complaint copy: Jairam Ramesh, Supriya Srinathe and also Rahul Gandhi as well. And in this particular case, it was being learnt that all of them had retweeted this particular song along with the video of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, but none of them had removed this particular video, and therefore on several counts of copyright infringement, the MRT company had gone on to file a complaint. And in this regard, the Bengaluru Commercial Court has gone on to order that all the handles will have to be blocked permanently in Karnataka, and they have also stated that all the videos which has the song of the movie KGF 2 will have to be removed with immediate effect. But so far, as of now, even when we check the Bharat Jodo official Yatra handle, it is still working, and it is now being understood that after a clarification, it will take anywhere between 24 hours to 36 hours for all the handles to be blocked by the tech team here in Bengaluru.
All right, thank you, Prajwal, for getting us all those details. Bengaluru court orders blocking of Twitter handles of Congress party Bharat Jodo Yatra in copyright infringement suit. On that note, let's take a very short break. We continue getting you the fastest updates on India's #1 news channel.